Our game was based on the Siege of Tyre. It is a strategy based game with its main dynamic being prediction and chancing. There are two main teams in this game, the Alexander the Great team, which is the one on the left, and the starting team for each game, and the Island of Tyre team, which is the one on the right in this scenario. Each player has 5 cards, corresponding to each of the 5 resources you can gain during the game. As the attackers, you and your teammate choose which resource you would like to try and collect that round and place it face down on the table. In response, the defenders can block your team's attempt at gaining those resources by choosing one resource to block and whether they should block separate players or the same one for better odds of guessing correctly. Afterwards, the reveal happens, and the resources get claimed accordingly. In our case, Quentin's sheep did not get blocked by anything, so we received one sheep. However, my choice of rock was blocked by Timothy's rock, which means that they received the rock in our place. At the end of each attacker's round, they can choose to lock in up to 2 items, which is what we did. And then the roles get switched up. The attackers became the Island of Tyre, and since me and Quentin didn't block very well, as you can see, they gained both sheep and bricks this round. Afterwards, it's their turn to choose which 2 items they're allowed to lock into their base. Once an item is placed into the base, it has already contributed to the construction of your structure and is therefore unusable. Any resource cards remaining on the outside of your base must turn into different resource cards once 3 of them have been gathered. Now it is our turn to choose again, and after making our choice, the opposing team has decided to, this time around, block wheat and logs on Quinted, which is funny because he had brick and I had wheat, so we won this round. We got wheat and brick. Lock 'em in. Lock 'em in, boys. After the first few rounds, which tend to be a bit more randomized, the game sort of starts to gain this strategic feeling. You start to look over at the other players and you start thinking, what do they need? What would they pick? And if you're playing with close friends, you keep seeing these patterns appear onto which items they often choose and which items they often don't. Going with your gut might become a sort of common tactic, as I remember clearly this round that Quinton looked at me and told me, I'm going to go with wood, you do what you want. So I did what I wanted, and we lost. And then he decided to sabotage me by throwing my card down off the table. Then we quickly got over our differences and our turn came again. Me and Quinton each made our choice. We placed our cards face down on the table and we waited for the opposing team to make their choice. Now, reviewing the tape, I'm not quite sure what was going on through their heads since they didn't already have a wheat locked in, but they decided to use one of our game mechanics, which we called double blocking. Instead of a normal block, one player can use up one of their resources to block a specific resource for the whole team. Rock was blocked for the whole team, and wood was blocked for me. But me and Quinton finally telepathically connected, and we both chose brick, which basically wasted one of their resources for nothing. So now me and Quentin are at this point in the game where we kind of know what we need. But the issue is that the other team also knows exactly what we need. This is primarily why we implemented the transformation mechanism. Otherwise, you would get stuck in a situation where your opposing team would always try to block the exact resource that you needed. In this situation, me and Quentin were kind of arguing because we didn't exactly want to spend our resource. We just wanted to use it for trading if we could. And so instead, we blocked wheat for the whole team by separately using wheat. And we still gained one wheat in return. The island of Tyre was getting resources too, and slowly they would start catching up to us. Finally, I knew I had to do something to take the fate of this game into my own hands and to win this battle. Any of the 4 options would have been a good option, and by confusing myself, I could confuse the other team as well. They didn't exactly want to block me, since they didn't know what I had chosen. And such, the universe was on my side, and me and Quentin finally gathered enough to make a trade. We took our wheat to the town's market, and finally, we exchanged it for one wood. The first wood in this game. Victory felt so much closer, but unfortunately for us, this battle wouldn't go as planned. Before we continue with the rest of the game, however, guys, if you could like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, it would be greatly appreciated. Me and my team work really hard to make these videos so that you can enjoy it. So strike that subscribe button and let's get on with this epic historical battle. Okay, it's not that epic, we're just putting cards down. But the following scene is really funny because we each chose the wrong card for the wrong person. We basically lost. At this point, they only needed one more wood. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I wasn't really paying attention to the game. I was looking at this shaky guy holding the camera, trying to get him to hold the camera steady. Special thanks to Jake though for helping us record this. Anyway, never do what I'm about to do. I did the most stupid thing you could possibly imagine. That's probably why I even look so scared when I'm putting the card down, because I know what I'm about to do is a mistake. Can you guess which card I put down? As the defender team decided to block us, the game was over. I had given them exactly what they needed. And so they completed their building, and the Siege of Tyre had